are scared that AI, artificial intelligence, and it can take their job.
Critical thinking and problem solving skills, and mathematics skills.
Many people believe coding is only for genius or computer scientists. What's the biggest misconception about learning code?
Welcome to Turning Point Podcast.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of Turning Point. And today, a lot of questions like, is AI going to take my job and all of that? So we're going to answer that right here today in this episode. And I have with me here in the studio, Mr. Jerome, an artificial intelligence expert and a coding expert. Welcome to
Thank you
this
for having
episode,
me.
sir. Yeah. Can you tell us about yourself?
Yes, so my name is Jerome Uka. I studied electrical and electronics engineering at Southern Illinois University, United States. So I came into Innovate roughly 2 years ago, and it's been development and growth ever since.
Okay, so let's dive right in. Artificial intelligence is changing the world rapidly.
Yeah.
So what skills should young people start learning today to remain relevant in the future?
Okay, I'll just pick two skills. First of all, you actually need a bit of numerical skills. I won't lie. People say they don't need mathematics, but that's a lie because artificial intelligence itself is built on pure mathematics. So if you don't understand how AI works, then you cannot understand how to harness it or how to use it to your own advantage. So I would say pick up one or two mathematical skills, and then second, pick up critical thinking skills, how to solve problems. If, for example, maybe you're trying to understand why a road has been blocked, your best bet is to turn around and use a different route, right?
True.
But what if the road has been blocked only for 2 minutes, and then you're turning around and then you're going to spend 10 extra minutes to find a new route? So problem solving involves thinking with more information, making information-based decisions. So you'd have to probe for more data from the problem and get as much information as you can before you solve the problem, not just solve it out of whim or out of a reaction to the problem. Solve it out of a response to the problem rather than just reacting to the problem. So critical thinking and problem solving skills and mathematics skills is very relevant in today's world.
Wow. So many people believe coding is only for genius or computer scientists. What's the biggest misconception about learning code?
The biggest misconception about learning code is that code is difficult. It's not difficult. I will first of all define two terms here. First of all, there's a term called difficult, and there's a term called cumbersome. Now, something can be simple but bulky. That a lot of things are involved, but those things that are involved in this bigger thing are simple. While something can be short but very difficult.
Yes.
So whatever is involved in this stuff is just a little amount of things that are involved, but they are difficult. I would go for the simple and cumbersome one because I can break it down into bits, and each bite-sized piece is as easy as it gets. So coding has been misconstrued to be difficult or very almost impossible to learn, but that's a lie because computers think almost similar to humans. And how did we start learning to speak? By saying little and one word here, one word there, writing how to go here. My name is this here. I am a boy. So if you build up on that, you can build more and more different programs out of code. So coding is more a task or an idea based upon a building principle. You build up upon itself.
There's this misconception, or should I say, people believe or are scared that AI, artificial intelligence, and it can take their job. So, so how do you want to address this?
Well, it's a yes and a no answer. Like the reason why someone will always be employed or remain employed in an institution is if they're improving their skills. And if AI comes in and AI is more skilled than you, of course your job will be taken because people would want to spend less on salaries and just automate altogether and get the job done by a machine that is even quicker and doesn't get tired and accurate, right? So the best bet is to keep improving yourself, and some AI need humans to be operated.
Yeah.
Like, so you You can't, for example, fly a plane without a pilot. Although some planes are self-flying, but then it's someone that invented that self-flying system. So humans are still relevant. It's just how skillful are you in the job market today that will prove your relevance in the job market today.
So that means even AI needs to be prompted by humans.
It needs to be prompted, yes,
By
like
human.
ChatGPT. You have to talk to it for it to respond to you.
To you.
So humans are still needed.
All right. So lastly, for someone with no technical background who wants to start a career in AI or coding, what practical steps would you recommend?
First of all, get a computer. You need a computer. You can't program on your phone. People think, oh, computer is too expensive, and I understand. You can borrow a laptop, or even go to the National Library or some learning centers in Abuja here, like the Global Learning Institute. They have computers. Just rent one out and use it. So get a computer and understand how your world works. So building programs can involve things like science, little science, like physics, or even mathematics. 1 + 1 is 2. Why? You can't just accept things. You have to ask why they are true, or else they will always remain false in your head unless you know why they are true. So I would say get a computer, know how to think critically, and don't just take things at face value. Dig deeper to understand why things are the way they are, and learn to break things down into simpler components. That way you can build back up a solution that is more long-lasting and more accurate.
Thank you very much for your time, Jerome.
You're welcome.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's the end for today's episode. AI is not taking your job as long as you sit up. So I come your way the next time. See you.